Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Wednesday video where I answer your questions. So each week I get viewers' questions, and each week, the next week, I will answer those questions. Before I get started, I'd just like to say again, go check out my Kickstarter. If you like Golden Age Good Girls, it's the perfect Kickstarter for you. If you like sexy women, it's the perfect Kickstarter for you. If you like this channel, it's a perfect Kickstarter for you. So go to the description of this video and check out the link to where you can see the Kickstarter. So definitely worth seeing. Okay, let's get into the video though. Quasi Terrible wrote, my question this week, what are some of your low-grade books that but have beautiful covers? I always look for books that have all their damage on the back or elsewhere. I do the same. I do the same. I'm going to show you a bunch of really great comics that I have that are low grade, and I'll tell you what's wrong with them as well, and I'll show you why I picked them up. Okay, so generally when I buy low grade comics, it's really to save money. A lot of these books are bloody expensive and high grade, and they'd just be cost prohibitive. Even in like mid grade, they're cost prohibitive. So these are books that I could only afford because they are low grade. And I'll give you my first example of that is this one. And it really does look beautiful. I mean, this is actually, it would probably grade out at like a 3 or 4, I would say. Maybe higher. It's quite nice presenting. This is Sterling Comics number 49, classic Alex Schomburg cover, and just a great, beautiful book. This one goes for thousands of dollars per point. So how did I pick it up? Well, I bought it ungraded. Well, it is graded, but it's a 0.5. It's missing the center wraps, missing 2 center wraps. But it's really all about the cover. So this one is just a really great cover, just one that I've always wanted, and it was the only way I could afford it. Even still, it was almost not affordable, even in a 0.5. Just a really great book. So that's the first one. This next one is just one that does present well, but it's got a really rough spine. You can see the spine actually is really rough. I have to kind of show the spine to make so you can see it, but it does present really, really well. It's 1.0. This is another pretty pricey book actually in higher grades. So yeah, you can see, but it presents really well. I mean, all the parts that matter are really, really well presenting, but you can see that the spine, is not the greatest. So yeah, but I don't mind. I think it presents really well, and it's a 1.0. But presents great. Okay, a lot of the time I look for that kind of like split spine. That is a great way to get in a book very affordably, and low grade, but presents well. And sometimes if you get a full split spine, the comic can be completely complete, and it will get a 0.5 grade. So you guys basically get a book that just looks awesome for a 0.5. Here's another book, another 0.5. It's missing the center wrap, but it presents really, really well, except the spine. You can see the spine is really rough, but the actual book itself, I wish it was in a smaller case. It wasn't in the magazine case. I think if somebody kind of did some like, sorting out of the, like, you see how you can see it's like on the back, you can see that it's not, there's a bit of a spine roll. And if they corrected that spine roll, I think you could get this into a comic case. And then in a comic case, this messed up spine wouldn't show. But if you can ignore the spine's just mangledness, it actually presents really, really well. So I think if it wasn't for the center wraps being missing, actually it still would grade out at like a 2 or 2.5, just because the spine is pretty messed up. Okay, Next one is another, again, I buy a lot of these low grades where the cover just presents really, really well. So this one is missing a couple pages, but it presents really well. This is my All Flash Quarterly #1. Again, a very pricey book in higher grades, but I think it's a stunning copy. It just looks really great. It is a 0.5 grade. Even the back is not the greatest though, but the front, I mean, it presents really, really well. That's all I care about. Just having that really nice presenting copy of a comic that's got a classic cover. Okay, so those are my low grade but nice presenting books. I have a bunch more, but because I have a lot of low grades in my collection, but that's a good sampling. Okay, next question comes from Jerry Chick. Thanks for considering my idea about the forgotten superheroes of the Golden Age. I would agree that Bullet Man is one of those. Maybe Black Terror, the Green Lama, and many others would be good ones. So we're going to look into the Black Terror. So the Black Terror, if you're not familiar with the Black Terror, this is what he looks like right there. This is America's Best Comics, and that's the Black Terror. And this is done by Alex Schomburg. A lot of the Black Terror comics featured Alex Schomburg's work. So just really great character and great artist representing him. So, okay, so let's get into a little bit about... he was created by Richard Hughes, actually, and made his first comic book appearance in Exciting Comics #9. It was later that Schomburg started doing his artwork. Now, the character is Bob Benton, and he was a normal pharmacist and working on experiment, and his assistant, Tim Rowland, made a tonic that could help, as Bob put it, run people down, run down people. While working on the experiment, Tim accidentally adds formic acid. After getting mad at Tim for adding the wrong chemical, Bob inhaled the resulting formic ethers and gained super strength and invulnerability. Seeing the potential of his newly acquired powers, Bob decided to do something that he'd always daydreamed about: use his strength to fight crime and evil. It is then that he became the nemesis of evil, the Black Terror. Believing that Bob may need help to wage his war on crime, Tim took it upon himself to take the formic ethers and develop the same powers as the Black Terror. Together they were known as the Terror Twins and went on to fight threats both domestic and foreign throughout the World War II. So very popular character all through the 40s, actually. They actually brought Black Terror back in Dynamite Comics, and Project Superpowers has him in it, and he has way more powers. But originally the Black Terror, his powers were just really super strength, invulnerability. That was pretty much it. But he was a pretty cool character back in the day. So here's, I'll show some more artwork with the Black Terror. So there's another Miss Mask and Black Terror and Fighting Yank on the side here as well. But the Black Terror, he almost looked like a bad guy because he has a skull and crossbones on him, but he is a good guy. And here's another copy of him. Black Terror. This is Exciting Comics number 55. And we got Exciting Comics number 53. It's actually the first appearance of Miss Mask in this one. You got a really great Alex Schomburg Black Terror cover. And one of the more interesting Black Terror covers is this one. This is Exciting number 39. And this one, you got the Nazis and the Black Terror is like attacking them. what they're doing is they got chocolates. You know, Alex Schomburg always labeled stuff. Let's see if I can get the glare to go away. And you can see these are little candy bars, and they're putting in poison. You can see the poison bottle, and they're injecting it into the candy bars. And then in the window, you can see that the Nazis are giving that candy to little kids. So just a crazy cover. One of the great Black Terror covers, actually. So that's sighting number 39. Again, a low-grade comic, but it doesn't necessarily show the best. Okay, Troy Evans asked, I've recently bought a few Golden Age comics. The Australian summer is approaching with extreme humidity. I'm considered buying a dehumidifier. In your opinion, is a dehumidifier enough to preserve Golden Age comics? Perhaps a dehumidifier in combination with something else to maximize preservation due to humid summers. Well, there's a couple things. It's not just humidity. Humidity is major, actually, but it's also the temperature. So according to the National Library of Scotland, who basically does archiving of paper documents, you should try to keep your room temperature where you store the books within a range of 60 to 66 degrees Fahrenheit. So fairly cool, actually. And the ideal humidity is around 45 to 60%. If you're in an extreme humid environment, I would recommend you try to get it closer to that 45 as much as possible. So you might need actually more than one dehumidifier. That can be the case where, get it, because one might not be enough to just get all the humidity out of the room. Generally, when you do air conditioning in a house, actually you're dehumidifying it as well. So if you have a good air conditioning in your house, well, you're actually dehumidifying your home. So those are the kind of things to look for when protecting your comics. The other thing is obviously, have it in a room where there's no potential for pests, sunlight, and the general wear and tear that can destroy comics. Avoid kids. So those are the big things. But make sure that your comic room is kept very dry for the most part. K. Mutin asked, on Friday, the June 14th live stream, I mentioned Vampirella having some underappreciated covers. What are some of your favorite Vampirella covers? Out of curiosity, do you own any Captain Harlock comics? As always, thanks for your insight. I do own a couple Captain Harlock comics. Recently, they redid that character storyline, and I picked up like the first couple of issues of the new series. Also, I have the free comic book day of his book. But with Vampirella, I'm going to actually show non-magazines because some of the best ones are actually in the magazines. Pretty much, I love the whole entire run of Vampirella covers from the Warren collection. But I'm going to show you some modern ones just because these are a bit under the radar and might not be as well known. So I'm just going to show you a bunch that I like. These are all like either variant covers or ratio variants or something, or like virgin variants and stuff like that. So we got this one. I'm just going to show you ones I like. So I don't even know what the issue numbers are because a lot of them are virgin variants. But this is Vampirella Strikes, issue number 4. At least this one says. I just thought it was a cool cover. And I have no idea what this one is, but I think it's a great cover. A bit sexy. It's like doing the stripper thing, but very cool negative space variant cover. It's a really cool one. I don't know what the issue number is. Then we got this one. I think it's just a cute cover. Actually, I always thought this was a really cute one. This is Scotty Young, I believe. I believe it's Scotty Young. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. It kind of has that Scotty Young look to it. This is Vampy #1. Actually, it might be somebody else. I might be wrong when I said Scotty Young. I believe it's somebody else, actually. And then this is like a steampunky one. This is Legendary Vampirella #1. And it was kind of a steampunk meets Vampirella kind of series. I like steampunk. I like the look of it. I think it looks cool. And I like my homages. And Dynamite did an homage to Raphael #1. And it's just like Vampirella and Dracula. But just a really cool homage. And here's another cool one. Is this Josco? Who did this one? I have no idea who did this, actually. I was going to say somebody, but just a cool one with her kissing the bat with a bit of tongue. Bit disturbing, but kind of cool. And then we got this is a Campbell, J. Scott Campbell cover. I just thought this one was cool. You got all the monster characters and got even the like Chucky or kind of ventriloquist doll kind of character down there. But just a really nice J. Scott Campbell cover. Lots going on this one. This is Vampirella #1, the B cover from 2001. One good thing about my comic shop, they always label what the thing is. And then this one I just thought was a cool one. You know, this is like kind of that another kind of trope where you get the girl in the big oversized wine glass and there's usually bubbles or something being poured on her. But this is with Vampirella with some blood. Really cool one. And what else we got here? Okay, so then we got a couple. These are more sexy. These are cosplay ones. I just thought they were kind of sexy cosplay ones. So this is one. I have no idea what the issue numbers are because it's like a virgin variant. And we got another one. I thought this girl was kind of cute. She's not as buxom, but she is still cute. And then we got a Linsner cover. This is like Vampirella maybe as a little girl. I like Linsner, and this is just a really great cover. Again, sorry I don't know what the issue numbers are. If I know it, I'll say it, but if I don't, well, sorry. And then we got this another virgin variant where it's sort of raining blood. It's a really cool one. Oh, I can't read the name. I'm not sure who that is. And finally, this is like a very popular Vampirella cover, but I had to have it on the list. And it's Dave Stevens' Vampirella, The Scarlet Thirst. Just a really great Vampirella cover. So those are just some. I have like a ton of Vampirella covers that are really great. I mean, they do a bunch. I mean, they do like whenever they release Vampirella, they release like 20 different covers, it seems. So there's like so many. I have a whole short box devoted to Vampirella covers. It's just like, it gets a bit much after a while. But, you know, there's some really great ones. But I hope you like those ones at least. Okay. Can you show some Copper Age books that have high value but are a bit under the collector's radar? Okay. Where did I put them? I just had them. And I don't know where I put them. One sec here. Don't get mad at me. I just gotta find them. I put them somewhere. I had a big little oh, wonderful. I put it underneath. I gotta put these down. Okay. So these are some books that have fairly good value. And some of them actually, I try to do it in different price ranges. So we're going to start out with some of the cheaper books first that I think are a little bit under the radar and a little bit undervalued even. We're going to start out with this book. I literally paid under $10. I paid $3 for this. It says $4.50. I actually got it cheaper than that. So this is Heathcliff, #1. This is actually the first appearance of Heathcliff. When I was a kid, I read Heathcliff a lot, and I liked Garfield as well, but actually thought Heathcliff was better. He's a little bit more sassy cat. You know, he's got a little bit more edge to him, I guess. And just a fun cat. So Heathcliff, number 1, first appearance in comics of Heathcliff. So very cool book, under the radar. You can pick it up really cheap. So that's a cheap one. Okay, another cheap book, totally under the radar. And this one is actually a pretty good spec because we saw what happened with the Dave Stevens effect, where all of a sudden people were going crazy for Dave Stevens stuff. Well, another artist that is another really great Good Girl artist is Darwin Cook. And this book features the very first artwork by Darwin Cook. This is Talent Showcase number 19. So very first published art by Darwin Cook. So kind of a cool book to pick up. Now, that is a cheap book, $2. You can pick that up. It's really, really cheap. But this book, this is a Darwin Cook cover, probably like $50 to $100, and maybe even higher, depending if it's graded or not. This is Starfire number 3, Darwin Cook cover. Just a really great Starfire cover. And this one's a bit under the radar. Sometimes I've seen it on a hot list once or twice, but it's just a really great Darwin Cook cover. Another sort of affordable spec is Beneath the Trees. This one is kind of one of those ones that is quite popular. And I think it goes for like 30 bucks kind of level. But it is definitely one that has potential because of the fact that it's kind of an interesting story. It has that sort of stray dogs element to it where it looks really cute and fuzzy and yet it's psychotic. So interesting book. Here's one that's actually a modern book that is fairly expensive right out of the gate. This is Musk versus Zuck. Goes for about 50 bucks to $100 range, and it's pretty pricey because just of the campiness and the sort of modern collectability of it, that you get these two icons of the digital space and you know them fighting it out. So this is just like a funny one that I think has some potential for historical reasons. Now we're getting into some pricier books. We're now into sort of a Copper Age book. This is Cherry Pop-Tart. This goes for anywhere from $300 to $600 range, depending on the grade. So it's a pretty pricey book. And that, when I say 300, it's more for the mid-grade, like 6.0 up kind of level. So pretty pricey book. Lots of collectors for this one, but a lot of people like who don't know, they're sort of like ones who know, and it goes for crazy prices. The ones that don't know, this you can actually see this sometimes in the back bins in the adult section, of course, because it is an adult book, but it can go for an affordable price sometimes. You got to be a little bit careful finding it. Okay, so that's Cherry Pop-Tart. Another big book is Zombie Tramp. This one, if you can find this book, it's worth anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, maybe even $3,000 to the right collectors. Very hard book to find. This is Zombie Tramp number 1, the first edition. There's slightly different coloring inside. Very hard to find this book. Good luck. There's like less than 500 copies. But if you can find it, it's under the radar for the most part, except for me babbling about Zombie Tramp all the time. For the most part, it's under the radar, though. And you can pick up Zombie Tramps fairly affordably. And a lot of them can go for big money. So something to look forward to. I had to put it on the list. People would be like, why didn't you mention Zombie Tramp? Well, I had to mention Zombie Tramp. So those are some of the books that I think, might be worth checking out. Okay. Next question comes from Martin Bow. Do you have a copy of Mystery in Space number 21? I'm trying to find one online for purchase, but no copies seem to be available. Okay, I actually looked to see if I could find. I don't have it personally. I know I don't have it. It's actually a really cool cover where you get this kind of merry-go-round with like alien creatures, and they one actually comes to life, and the guy goes off the merry-go-round with the creature just going on, off by itself, kind of thing. Very cool cover. Hard to find. It's a very hard book to find. But I'm going to give you 2 tips on how to potentially find it. One tip is on my comic shop, you can set an alert that you're looking for that book. And they generally have like pretty good influx of comics that come in. And you can find the books will just magically appear sometimes. So I recommend you put an alert on my comic shop for it. And you can also do the same on eBay, where you can set up an alert on eBay, and then anytime you get a notification, they'll give you a notification by your email, and you can jump on it whenever it comes up. One more trick. What I recommend is searching for Mystery in Space lot. Because sometimes what happens is when people list these books where they're not really familiar with them and they don't know the value, what happens is they will put them in a lot where you'll get like maybe 3 or 4 issues, and one of the issues will be that 21 that you're looking for. So I sometimes will search not by the issue number, but by a lot, and see if there's any lots online that just happen to include the issue that I'm looking for. I've done that a few times with pretty good success. So something to try. Last question comes from Matt Likes Comics, which he's working to get up to 222 subscribers, by the way. And if he gets there, he's going to have a giveaway. And one of the giveaway prizes is a t-shirt from me and autographed like headshot or a shot of me. I'm going to do a picture. I'll have a picture and I'll sign it. So these are extra things. He's also giving away 2 comics. One comes like, it's a pretty cool, sexy comic. And the other is a Silver Age book that if you are a backer of my Kickstarter, you get that extra bonus book. So check out his channel, and Matt Likes Comics, and you can potentially win a prize. Okay, so he asked, what is your favorite non-internet resource source? Okay, I have 2 that I can think of. And this is because I'm old school. And actually, I would say 3. I'm going to say 3, actually. I changed my opinion. I'm going to say 3. three sources. So one is the Gerber guide. And the reason I say like I'm old school is like back in the day, we didn't have the internet to really do research on comics and find out what are the keys and what are the cool covers and stuff like that. Now it's pretty easy to do that because you can search pretty much anything. But back in the day, the ways that you would find out what are the cool covers is you'd use the Gerber guide. Actually, I'm going to say a 4th. Oh my goodness, I'm going to come up with 4. I just thought of one more that I should really mention. So Gerber guide, that's really huge. It's like a photo journal, big books, very useful. The next one is the Overstreet Price Guide. So here's an example of the Overstreet Price Guide. It's a thick book, has lots of comics mentioned inside. This is an older one. But the Overstreet, this is actually the comic book price guide. So it's a different one. But my point is the Overstreet guide, or any like of those price guides. Another one that I really liked back in the day, and actually sometimes I feel nostalgic, and I'll actually, I have like some raw copies of it, is Wizard magazine. Very useful for seeing what books were hot, and actually getting a sense of the market back in the 90s, which is kind of fun. So I like those as non-internet sources. One last one, because I do collect Golden Age, and I do love Golden Age stuff. This is an odd one, is The Seduction of the Innocent. So I have a copy of The Seduction of the Innocent, and because I'm a collector of that, I actually use that book as basically a catalog for what books I should chase after, either by genre or just like the different the photos that are included inside of that book. And sometimes it actually gives me a sense of what could become a good Golden Age book to spec on. So I kind of use it as a resource to actually kind of foster my Golden Age collecting. It was one of the big influences in terms of me collecting a lot of Golden Age books, because I went down many rabbit holes looking for the books mentioned in The Seduction of the Innocent. So it's a weird resource, not one that most people would even think of as a resource. They would think of it as very anti-comics. But for me, I actually used it to do research and find cool comics that might be ones that are a little bit, cool. Like, they're just like the fact that Wortham mentioned them as evil. Hey, you know that they're going to be cool. So that's really the way I was thinking on that. So those are the ones that I was thinking. I'm sure that people in the comments below will mention some other great non-internet resources for research on comics. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a question you would like to ask, put it in the comments below. Check out my Kickstarter, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye for now. Bye.